mountain goats in the Chugach range requires one of two things, either a long wet hike through forest or a short fly in. As the funds weren't there for the flight, we got a long wet walk in. The Chugach forest in this section is considered to be the northernmost rainforest on Earth, with annual rainfall and precipitation well over 300 inches a year. And this weekend was no different. It rained on us from leaving the truck until the time we returned to the truck 3 days later. As you gain elevation, you can see the change in foliage becomes much less dense and the forest opens up. Navigating even small waterfalls like these become logistical nightmares. After 5 miles of slogging through the undergrowth, we finally came on top of the subalpine. Here you can see the trees lessen and the foliage opens up much more. Upon reaching the summit of our hike, we found the weather had closed in, so we decided to warm up and dry out in the tent. We set up camp in the High Alpine Pass. This is the pass itself, and the mountain you see in front of you is the range that we're going to hunt. The mountain itself has a wide variety of terrain, from steep scree slopes and chutes to wide open alpine. As we climbed higher in the mountain, the terrain becomes much more rugged and the weather deteriorated rapidly. For failing to find goats in the initial scout and being closed in by snow and ice, we decided to stop for lunch. After lunch, I had to take one last look over the ridgeline to see if there was anything on the north face. After peering over the ridge, there was one spot of snow that didn't look quite right. A quick glance through my scope confirmed that it was the world-class mountain goat that I was after on this hunt, and quickly I understood that we were in the game. Even the goat was well within my range. I only had a partial view of its head and neck and decided to try a stalk to get a better angle. After doubling back up the mountain and going around some cliffs, we found a vantage point high above where we thought we could get a better view of the goat. I only see the mountain goat when I was almost too close and popped out right on top of it. The camera makes it seem much farther away. We're only about 100 yards here. After the shot, the goat disappeared over a ridgeline and down into a chute. To gain access to the chute we thought it was in, we had to go completely down the mountain, cross a snowfield, and then come up the other side. Despite 6 hours of the hardest climbing I've ever done, we still couldn't find the goat, so we retired to camp to make repairs in our gear and then set out in the morning again. After returning to camp, 2 hunters came off the mountain to inform me that they had watched me shoot the mountain goat and it had in fact died, but it was in a different chute than I thought it was in. So we made plans the next morning at 6 a.m. to get up, have breakfast, and then head back up the mountain. By first light, the weather had closed in rapidly, with visibility being less than a quarter mile, but we still headed up into the fog to see if we could find the goat. Our route demanded us to go higher than we needed to go to get around the snow and ice fields and make our way up into the narrow chutes that we thought would contain our goat. The terrain only became higher, steeper, and more difficult as we went up, and the weather got worse and worse the higher we went on the mountain. Finally, when we rounded the last chute, you can see the goat here had stopped some 60 feet above the bottom of the chute and caught between the ice and the cliff. The real work began. Between quartering, skinning, and packing out, it took over 4 hours to get back to camp that day.